Leilani, how are you?
Well, here I am.
Do
Of course I
tales.
do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able. Which one?
Uh, okay,
It will come to you soon. I'm sure.
we've already talked to her as much as we could. Leliana, pepperoni. Hold on, we gotta
Why,
get.
you little...
Did you jump at the sight of
Oh,
your own
you're so
shadow again?
funny. Such rapier wit.
Yep,
Your
it
furry
is.
friend here took offence at me getting near his food. He snapped at me. Look.
That was just a warning. He could have taken his hand off. Um, you teach that silly Alistair a lesson.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
I wanted to pet.
I once heard a really old legend about how the hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh.
Gagging noises, heaving.
Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
I'd never feed
It's
you
not
another human.
cannibalism if he's eating it, you know.
It's still weird.
Ugh, look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
Can't be stinkier than what normally goes into them. But he means well.
Dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
It was a gift.
I just did.
Wow, you're so rude.
I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
You're so mean. You hurt his feelings.
He's just trying to be manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
How many interactions with Pepperoni are we gonna get? I literally just want to pet the dog. Just watch.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Okay. Trying to find a way through Earth. It's gonna take some time, you know. Good luck with that, then. We still didn't give him a pet, but I mean, oh, here it is, pet Pepperoni. Oh, you're so cute. Look at you. Oh God. Okay. We achieved what I wanted to achieve. On we go. All right, so we're gonna take Morgan Leilania. I mean, I guess we don't really need her, but I do want to have her approval of me go up, and then we're gonna take Aladad. All right. So the fun part about chat chooses the adventure. Chat gets to choose where we go next. So we got the dwarves in the Frostback Mountains, Soldier's Pass, which I don't remember what it is, Red Cliff for yep, I know who it is, for Alistair's uncle and stuff. Oh wow, thanks Meethix. Then we have Lake Calenhad Docks, which would take us towards the mages. and the Brazilian outskirts for the Dalish elves. I'm really surprised we didn't get stopped on our way here. It's a
Perhaps we
bear.
should have a drink since we've stopped.
Yes?
Nothing. Never mind. I didn't care.
Could see me on
Time
my
of
way.
war. Low-gain sentry.
Whee! Spinny! Ow. Ow. Oh god, the mage is doing a lot of damage. Hold on a minute. Stop it. Ow. Stop doing so much damage, please. Holy crap. So yeah, Renzo, I guess that kind of like showcases you worried that the game was going to be too easy if we went on the leveling spree that we did. Yeah, the game is primarily about the...
Most traders aren't allowed into Orzammar, so they just sort of gather near the doors. There's no laws out here at all, I'm told.
it's all about the equipment, not really about the level. The level just gives me more spells to use.
So, let me get this straight. You were a cloistered sister?
You must have been a brother before you became a Templar, no?
I never actually became a Templar. I was recruited into the Grey Wardens before I took my final vows.
Do you ever regret leaving the Chantry?
No, never. Do you?
Yes. You may not believe it, but I found peace there. The kind of peace I've never known.
It used to get so quiet at the monastery that I would start screaming until one of the brothers came running. I would tell them that I was just checking. You never know, right?
No, I never did anything like that. I enjoyed the quiet.
Suit yourself. The look on their face was always priceless.
Can I talk to the bear? No, that would have been cool. Just start talking to the bear, like, what up?
You insult all of Pharrell. King
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign Dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Logain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care
Are
if
you
you're
now?
the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
I have important
None more
business.
important than mine.
Your business will wait. Orzammar must limit outside influence until the throne is settled. No one gets in.
Why have your
Hide
people
because
retreated?
they are dwarves.
I would challenge any race to fare as well. Our king is dead. Endrunai Dukan returned to the Stone Knot 3 weeks ago. The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
I'm a Grey Warden.
Wardens killed King Kaelin and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Logain.
Well, that is the royal seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner?
Yep.
In the name of King Logain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Run to your false kings.
You'll hear of this. King Logain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.
Plenty of help. So, a little fun fact about this place. One, this is just dripping in lore.
Do you think they sell miniatures of these in the city? I would love to have some on my mantle.
So, this is like lore
Now
upon
that's a thing of
lore
beauty, daughter.
upon
If
lore.
you card like Branca, all Orzammar will know your name.
and the city itself, we're not really in the city yet,
Why do you
but
always go on
I
about how
was
stupid I
so...
am? I'm not stupid, am I?
If you need to ask the question,
Because it hurts my manly feelings, you know. Or one of them.
then I'll be sure to write you an apology once all of this is over.
I was educated by the Chantry. I studied history. They don't make stupid Templars.
Then I must have been mistaken. I'm very impressed.
No, you're not. You're not even listening to me.
My, you are smarter than you look after all. Your Chantry must have been very proud.
I freaking love the dialogue between the characters. But yeah, so I got so enthralled in like how this city is and what all goes on with it. Oh my god, you have no ammo. That is not great. That I would actually, for the longest time, try and I really need to get some equipment for Leliana. Jeez, that's not great. We're not doing great here, are we? Move junk. I tried to make the city in Minecraft, and I got halfway decently far, but it was such a huge undertaking. It was unreal. We'll read the lore that I pick up here in a bit. We'll do like one big lore
It is the
dump.
assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew!
Handlers, separate these dashers in the diamond quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
You will not speak that way about the man who should be king!
Murder in the streets. Senseless murder. Well, that was fun. Also, Twitch just had is now doing something about all the spam bots. Someone came in, buy cheap viewers, and it hid the message immediately, and it has likely harasser restricted. Signpost.
It's big.
That's what she said. Yeah. Look at this place. It's so cool. Oh my god. Like, how do you even think of that for a design? Like, oh my god. I freaking love this place. What's up, Cap?
Surfacer. I'm bid to let you walk the commons, but keep your place. Warden or not, I want order.
I should get
yes,
going.
You should.
Bye. Yeah, don't need anything there. We're gonna do all the quests in the area.
Ancestor. Although, I can't imagine your ancestors reside in the stone.
What are you praying for?
My name is Filda, widow of Turok of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Ruck. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul.
Is he missing?
It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them.
I can go look
How?
for him.
There is no way except to brave the deep roads yourself.
I'm a great warden.
Warden?
We do that.
So you could do it. Only wardens face the deep roads without a company backing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers. Please,
Sure, that's
find
what
me
that
as
is.
soon as you return.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you know what? I'll get right to that. A mother's hope. Moving on. So we're gonna have a ridiculous amount of stuff to read
Maker's
here
blessing
in a
on
bit.
you, sister.
May his divine.
It's a great pleasure to meet a fellow believer.
Nope, I
I'm
just
Brother
have.
Burkle of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light.
Even in the very bowels of the earth, we hear no end of this chant.
And that is something to rejoice in, good sister. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzammar.
You know, I literally only know about Chantry because of the girl I'm trying to have the sex with. What about
There
your
is
ancestor?
Resistance.
Oh God,
It's
hiccups.
obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. Yet the dwarves of Orzammar persist in worshipping their own forefathers.
SOT Jack, thank you for the rose, by the way. Also, why is that not up? There we go. Whose permission do you
The Shaper
need?
controls changes in Orzammar's structure and society. I need the Shaper of Memory's permission to open a prayer meeting.
I can talk to him.
Oh, I'd hoped you'd say that.
No, of course you
I
did.
can see the Maker's hand on your shoulder, guiding you always.
If this chantry could help just one person as much as it helped me, it's worth any trouble.
Please let me know as soon as you've heard anything.
Sure. Leilania, she approves. You would think I would know how to pronounce her name. I don't. No, I didn't mean to do that. God damn it. Okay, that's that one. It was that one. Accidentally freaking hit the wrong button.
Told him I don't understand why the provings aren't open to everyone. I mean, it's how the ancestors show their favor. Do they really?
Everywhere! I can't take it!
You right there, dude?
Get away! You'll change like the rest! Monsters hidden in all my friends!
I'm already a monster.
There's things older than Darkspawn. And once you're in the story, they find you. See? I found copies. All from the same pen, and older than the ones in song. Dormant my ass. Take them. I want out. I won't disappear chasing a lie. I won't.
Sure. You have fun with that. Man took off like a bat out of hell. Good lord. Alright, so we got some exploring to do still. Before we do that, junk. We do got a lot of gifts. Alright.
Tops up. The more cracks in the old way, the better. That's what
Let me see what you have. Sell that. Ooh, you don't have any ammo. That's not great. I need to try to find ammo for Liliana. Otherwise, she's not really doing anything in fights. If I go to Dust Town, I'm probably going to get jumped. There is another market on the other side. Ooh, Jannar Armorers. They should also have stuff.
Welcome. I'm looking for a new set of mail. Of course.
No ammo. Great!
A Trust Valar stranger.
Know anything about what's
stay
happening
out
with
of
the king?
politics. It's not good for a smith to get the attention of those who grant vendors licenses.
That's fair.
Lord Harriman's a fair man. My father did business with him, and he always paid on time. But the Idukans have served us well. If it is the ancestors' wisdom to keep them on the throne, I cannot object.
Alright, I should get going.
And you
None of these guys have ammo. I love how it says she has arrows on her back, but there's no arrows in her quiver. Aw. Are you daft? Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, do you have a moment? You
Sure.
look like you're not from around here.
You're correct.
I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world.
Yep.
I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
I have.
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
I can ask
That
them.
would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcast. Tell them I've already begun reading the Teventer Imperiums for Tikum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child?
She's so enthusiastic and adorable. I'm glad we're helping her.
Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever you say.
Greetings.
Hello.
Wow, what was I saying?
Have a look at my
Right.
shop. Yeah, dude gone lost. Bolts. Bolts? What's up, Badger? I wanted arrows. I mean, I guess in theory we could take bolts. I was really hoping for arrows, though. We'll keep looking. If we can't find anything, then we'll...
I knew I should have stuck.
Come and...
No way I'm going back to that supplier.
I'll
Good on
send
you,
them your way.
stranger.
Yeah, there we go. That's just another quest that doesn't actually pop up if you don't know where to look. We could lore dump here in a minute.
I went on an exploration journey nearly halfway around the map perimeter.
Oh, are you talking on Satisfactory? I was definitely pleased with the ending of Satisfactory. Satisfactory indeed. Yeah, it was very nice. They didn't so they did what I prefer. They didn't go too overly crazy with the end. But they also made it very satisfying, so if for whatever reason there is no more no more like updates or DLC or anything like that,
Right,
it's a very
I've come up with
satisfying
one.
end of it.
A question that you can't answer.
Are you talking to me?
That's right. You think you're so smart. I've got an academic question that I bet you won't be able to answer.
Oh,
Oh,
I
boy.
doubt that.
So tell me then, what was the name of Andraste's husband?
This is a religious question, not an academic one.
You're joking, right? A 5-year-old could answer that question. Do you not know more than a child?
I care nothing for your religion, and this game of yours is over.
Oh, how the mighty have crumbled.
The dialogue between these guys are so good. Like, so good. You slaying many beasts and getting a lot of power things set up. Yeah, like I said, you definitely want to get power going. Renzo and I were struggling a bit towards the end.
Hey, what's down there?
Runestone. Another nug. Give me
Go
money.
on, I'm out of the nug game. Got nothing to sell. Saraka, I'm back in the game, such as it is. I don't have much besides gratitude, but find a bunch more of these and I'll toss you whatever I found.
It's not a lot of money, but it's still kind of nice. Alright. Did I mention I freaking love this city?
I'm almost surprised we haven't seen blood running these streets.
I mean, did you completely disregard the... You don't mind if I steal this, do you? Like, look at that. How can you not think this is, like, the most beautiful freaking place ever? Like, oh my god. It's freaking gorgeous. Ugh. I'm gonna gush over how gorgeous this place is a couple times. Don't mind me. Haramont's estate. Started working on a whole new power plant for 303 fuel generators. Damn. Butler.
I heard there was a Grey Warden here. I am Dulin Forrender, second to Lord Harrowmont, King Endrin's own choice as successor. Word is spreading that the surface may suffer a blight. It is shameful we are not in a better position to help.
I would speak with
In
him.
an ordinary time, Lord Harrowmont would be honored to meet you. Unfortunately,
What's that, Renzo?
we've already caught more than one of Balin's spies approaching Harrowmont under a pretense of friendship. So I'm afraid I won't be able to take your word. If you want to speak to Harrowmont, you will need to prove he can trust you. That's a generous offer. If you mean it, you might attend the proving today. The Deshers take it very seriously. And unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down.
So you want me to enter that?
Loyalties loud and clear. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of meeting with you then.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say we'll enter it. It doesn't lock us in
The arena
yet.
is located off the Commons. Talk to the Proving Master and tell him you're entering Lord Harrowmont's roster. The key fighters we lost were Guidon and Baisel. You can look for them in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure it's before the fights begin. After the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I will wait in the Tapster's Tavern off the Commons. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps even word of your victory.
Yes, do not stand guard here waiting for people. So, there's a big choice that chat gets to choose here. Do we support Lord Harrowmont? Or do we support Balin?
And done.
So, I'll kind of give a background of both.
Moving on.
Because it's very, I guess you could say, skewed unless you are either halfway through it and locked into one side or the other, or if you choose the dwarf start. So, what essentially happened here, if you would have started with the dwarf origin story, the prince was killed in an expedition in the Deep Roads. And in that time, another prince accused the third prince of doing so. And so they got cast out. And the prince that stayed is the one who would be the blood successor to the king. But on the king's bed, his dying bed as he was dying, he said that he doesn't want his son to be the king. He wants Lord Harrowmont to take over as king whenever he passes. And so Lord Harrowmont is someone who's very respected. He's a man of the people. He likes to, try to make things better for the people as he can. Except he never really cared to be king, except for the fact that, the king who just passed said he wanted him to be the successor. The son is very ambitious, very crude, would prefer to do a lot of violent actions, prefer to rule in fear more than anything. And the argument is Lord Harrowmont's too weak. He doesn't have enough strength. He's kind of more of a pushover, and he'll be a figurehead for the council instead of the actual king. And then on the other side, people are saying that Balin, the prince, is too harsh, too strict, and too violent, and is too quick to just chop people's heads off if they disagree with him. So that's the two people who we have to choose from
This has dragged on too long.
for who we support as king, or the next king, I should say.
Going.
Wall carving.
A new offensive is required against the Darkspawn, says Lord Balin.
Royal Palace. We have no thing in there to do yet. This should be the assembly. I guess we could go into the Royal Palace. We can get some background. We'll do a lore dump here very soon. We've picked up a lot of stuff, and a lot of the stuff will kind of explain the Dwarven culture a little bit more. Maybe make the decision for you guys a little bit easier.
Get them!
And spinny. Ow. How did I manage to... Okay, yes, this is the guy that I wanted to go to. Oh, she is shooting arrows. Okay, well, shit. Alright, I ain't gotta worry about hunting down arrows.
By the ancestors. Good on you, Warden. You caught them in the act. I guess desperate times drive people to strange things.
Yep, I totally meant to catch them in the act. Glass phylactery. Of his long reign, among the box small glass. Take the vial. Continue. It's a revenant. These guys are incredibly difficult. I am probably gonna get absolutely destroyed by this guy.
Let's make this quick.
Or not. What the hell? He's missing every hit. I'm loving this. Oh my god. Twitch is buffering like crazy and you just see me teleporting left and right. Should be just your armor. Or your internet. Badger! Because I haven't had any dropped frames. Put that on. I can wear this. It's very much a stronger thing, but it gives me a lot more fatigue. I'll do it. Move the junk. Let's see. Yeah, no, on mine it's... On my side, it's fine, at least. Then again, my side isn't much to go off of. Unlock the chest. I got a love letter. Those revenants we're gonna come across more and more as the game progresses. They're pretty difficult, but the throne of Orzammar. Nothing happens. Can I sit in the throne of Orzammar? I'll be king/queen of the dwarves. 'Cause I'm cool. Like, don't mind me. I wasn't snooping about or anything. Calm down.
Don't think so. Not happening.
Blame it on your Xbox for installing 2 games. God damn it, Xbox. Why you gotta install games like that? What are you doing? You act like you require game installations or something. What games you installing? I installed Sifu. It's on Game Pass now. I'm a little excited. Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. Ooh, good games. But yeah, Sifu has come to Game Pass, and I installed it, and I'm kind of excited. I kind of want to play it quite a bit. It should be really fun. Yeah, we got a bunch of quests here.
Who would... Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaperit. What have we been reduced to?
Thieves and Shaperits.
I did. He was bald, with the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine. He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dust Town. They couldn't know the value.
Okay. You know, you're right. They could not know the value. Also, these Hershey Kisses are hitting the spot a little too much. I haven't had a good chocolate in a while. Book.
I have heard much about the halls of the Dwarven kings, but the stories do it no justice. It is so strange, harsh, yet beautiful.
It's too stony for me. It is
And
very
have
grand.
you seen those tiny pig-like burrowing animals? They are adorable. I wish I could have one as a pet. But they must be hard to
The
catch
nugs.
and... Oh, just ignore me. I'm so silly sometimes. Let's just go.
You weren't the one I meant to talk to, but that was adorable.
Oh, pardon me. Were you looking for a particular volume? Not that I could really help. I don't know the libraries very well. I'm just doing some research.
What kind of research?
I was looking for something about the Orton Tig. It was lost during the last blight, and there aren't many records left. They were a noble house once, descended from the Paragon Orton, who composed the grand epic of the Seven Brothers and the Ortonic Symphony. My mother's family believes they were descended from Kalana Orton, who was training in Orzammar when the Tig fell. I'm even named for the house, Orta. Unfortunately, any records would be buried in the Tig's ruins, somewhere in the deep roads.
I'm not afraid.
Grey Warden? Mother always said that if anyone could find the Tig, it was the Wardens. I hear Prince Balin and Lord Harrowmont have both been sending out small teams these days. Yes, if you can find the Tig in any records, that could do it. That could prove I'm a noble. If you could. Maybe now that you're looking. It's almost too much to hope.
You still got some big lips, lady. Like, oh my god. Back whenever the game developers thought huge lips was the way to go to make a face look normal. Whew! Wall of memories. Yeah, this place has a ton of lore. The search for the true prophet. Hold on. I do have up the thing for the gifts. Leliana. Where? Nope, that's Alistair. That's the dog. There we go. Andraste's Grace. Blue satin, bronze symbol of Andraste, Chantry amulet, etched symbol, golden, cute nug. I can actually gift a cute nug to Leliana. I'm definitely doing that. What's up, Dad? Did you see my Discord message, by the way? I was gonna join you on Fortnite, then I got distracted, and then it was midnight, and I was like, oh, that's not great. And praise the humble nug. Shaper Scribe. Alright, we'll talk to this guy.
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace.
Was it?
The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand. I
Indeed.
apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories.
How do you know who I am?
The Grey Warden's visit has been recorded in the memories, along with all who accompany you.
And you passed out last night. I feel that. I definitely feel that.
That is an odd request, especially for one so new to our city.
Brother Burkle.
I thought so. This is not the first time he's made this plea. My answer to Brother Burkle hasn't changed. So I ask you the same. On what basis would you have me insult the ancestors and overturn 2,000 years of tradition?
Chantry's charities could greatly aid Orzammar.
What sort of charities do you mean?
Will provide work for the castles.
I am not certain this is in Orzammar's best interests. Our castes have served us well, but it's possible this service could benefit our people. Very well, he may hold a prayer meeting as he requested, if not build a new temple to his god. At least the words would come from one of our own. Now, is there anything more?
Tell me
We
about
were a
Orzamar's
great
history.
empire once.
3 days left in the
outnumbering
season.
Even humans and elves. We traded with your Tevinter Imperium, and our land stretched as far in the deep roads as theirs did above. Kal Sharok was capital then, but we lost too many battles. We lost our golems, and we lost our territory. Now the Empire is simply ruined tunnels filled with darkspawn.
You'll be going hard the next few days? Yeah, I think I got a Saturday at 2 p.m. is the event. Of course it is, because that's when Shooter Saturday is. Maybe we'll try to do some here tomorrow, maybe Friday. See about finishing up some of the story and weeklies before it ends. What are the deep roads?
They were once our highways beneath the mountains. Now the Darkspawn claim them and few venture there, except your order, who enter the deep roads when they retire, so they can die slaughtering as many Darkspawn as possible.
Oh my god, Twitch, can you Fortnite as a shooter? I mean, yeah, that's why we've been doing it on Saturdays most, because of Shooter Saturdays. How'd you lose your golems?
Paragon Caridon, a smith of unsurpassed genius, invented the golems. For years they were our weapon against the Darkspawn. One golem is worth a dozen dwarves in battle, but Caridon's tide is far into the deep roads. When it fell, we lost his secret to creating golems. There are books about it along these walls if you would read more.
What's
they
a
are
tide?
to us what a colony is to surfacers.
Where's Kalsharok?
At the other side of the old empire. During the last blight, the kings of Orzammar knew they couldn't hold everything. They sealed the deep roads, abandoning everyone still trapped in far-flung settlements. It was the only way to survive. Kalsharok is the only other city to outlast the blight. We only rediscovered them recently, and they still haven't forgiven us.
I mean, that's fair. I
Your
really would
presence
not
here has been
forgive
recorded in the memories.
people who abandoned me
I wish I
for
knew what
death either.
significance it has.
Okay, so there's all that. We do gotta go down to Dust Town so that we can get the last little bit of lore before we do a mass lore dump of everything in this area. I probably should also hit the assembly hall. Vartog.
Welcome. It is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag Gavorn, top advisor to our good Prince Balin. What news do you bring?
Need aid against the blight.
Yes, the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now, the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now.
Played Save the World and Rocket Racing. Oh, good lord. Is there a way I can
My
help?
prince is the rightful king, but a disappointing number of lords back the upstart Harrimont for the throne. If you show your support for Prince Balin, he might be able to assist with your requests.
No, could you? Could he? Can I talk to him?
You must understand, Harrimont hides behind his good reputation while sending spies and assassins. Balin can't know who to trust. It's been like a knife in the heart for Balin to see so many of his father's men stand with the usurper.
Thought King Endrin himself supported
That
Harrimont?
hurts worst of all. That Harrimont would take advantage of the dying king's delirium to plant such poisonous suspicions against his own son. After that, you understand why Balin cannot trust the word of his
Alright, Dad. Have fun at
However
work. I'll let you know if
reputable
I
that
jump
stranger
on
might
it all.
be.
Also, I just realized what is happening over here? Nope, wrong thing. Doing all the wrong stuff in all the right ways. Okay. There we go. I promise I am no spy.
Would you be willing to prove that? Harrimont has engaged in a campaign
Message
of
got checked.
bribery
Yeah,
and coercion
I hate
to ensure
notifications.
that every house serves
Bubbles
him.
would drive me
But
crazy.
a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrimont's deception. I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude.
Just talk.
Very
Whoop.
well, but I will be...
I didn't mean to do that, but I did it anyway.
The assembly is in session. Enter quietly if you wish to observe.
Enter quietly, you say. Everybody, swords out, let's go.
Let's get on with it then.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Yes, you must.
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough. The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions.
Politics. Gotta hate it. Quest completed. Wow, I don't need to talk to that guy yet. So we're gonna get to the castless area. But from what people know about Harrowmont and Balin at this point, who
Lord
should we
Balin's
support?
impending marriage to a castless proves his dedication to...
News of the hour. Support Lord Balin at your peril. Evidence suggests Lord Balin considering widespread military draft.
It'll be 2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Easily.
Anka didn't go alone, Ogren. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapsters and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha!
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman.
Poor man. This man, his wife went to, explore the deep roads with her entire house. The royal house, as it were. And, she done got lost, never to be found again. It's so sad if it wasn't for the fact that it wasn't sad because it's sad. It's saddening, isn't it? You can open up your church.
Andraste teaches that patience is the child of wisdom, but I'm eager to hear if you've seen the Shaper.
I have.
Oh, praise the Maker! You truly walk in the light, friend. I already found a convert among the merchants who offered his shop as a temporary chantry. It's just by the Tapsters. Please, come to our first service.
Sure, whatever you say there, buddy. It should be this right here at some point. Dust Tower. We're gonna get attacked here, but I wanna...
Let me guess. This is where the poor people live.
Yep. I wanna finally get the lore dump because this place is just...
There's a rich one. We'll get plenty for their kid once we cut them out of it.
There's just so much that I want to talk about, and it's just huge. Come here, you Dust Town thug. Oh, and nope, he dead already. Rubble, the castless. None of these guys had anything. Hiccup and wow. Assembly directive.
Spare?
Hello.
Have you a coin to spare, Malik? It's for my son. He's sick. He hasn't any clean clothes to wear or anything to eat today. Neither have I.
Here's 5 silvers.
Thank you. That a stranger would care so much when my own family barred me from their halls unless I'm willing to. But no, I can't bear to even think of it.
What's your family want to do?
My son's father is casteless, as is he. I used to be a minor, but my parents stripped my caste and refused to accept me back. Unless I agree to abandon the child in the deep roads and pretend I never bore him.
I'll reason with your family. Yeah,
but
why not? Don't look a gift warden in the mouth. I don't like to see a child
I cannot
suffer.
offer enough gratitude. But I warn you, my father is a stiff-necked man. His name is Ordell, and he's usually at Tapsters in the evening.
Is
I do
he?
not think he will listen to you. but I will wait anxiously to see if you can do what you promise.
I mean, I really didn't promise anything. I said I would talk to him. I didn't say that I would successfully change his mind. And there's a very big difference.
Moving on.
Alright, let's get out of here. I think we got most of the lore for this area. Oh, the dead nugs. Oh, wait. One of these guys...
Your clothes are so fancy. Did you get them topside?
I did.
My ma'am used to say they don't got no stone to protect them topside. If I go up there, I'm gonna fall into the sky.
Yep, that's how that works. You have to hold on real tight with your feet.
Yes. When my dad left, he never came back. Who's to say he didn't fall up, eh?
What are the
Nugs?
small ones?
Yes. They don't got much meat on them, but down here you can't be picky. Better than nothing.
Could you catch one
What
for me?
for? You going to cook them up yourself?
My friend would like
Yeah,
one.
I can find a nug for you. Could even get one from outside the city. Those ones in the deeps don't eat as much garbage. I don't know what they eat, but they always seem healthier. You know, shiny coats, bright eyes. How much you giving me?
20 silver.
Real silver, huh? I'll get you a big one for that. Give me some time. I'll hunt them down for you.
We're gonna get a nug to give to, Leilani, whatever her name is.
Who are you? You don't look like any guardsman I ever saw, and that's
You're right.
not much of a uniform.
You also right. I'm Noodles, a Grey
You
Warden.
looking for a chance to bring in some coin?
Not
Could be
necessarily.
I have that opportunity, especially for someone with a few connections above ground.
Have to hear
Human
what you're
kings,
asking.
You know, they make these ridiculous laws. Like about who gets to buy and sell lyrium, the sacred gift the stone provides us to show her love. No law should regulate that. The laws are meant to keep mages away from the stuff, so there's always buyers in the Circle Tower. I got one man named Godwin. He's expecting a delivery of a stone's weight. You want an investment opportunity? I could see fit to, say, sell you that lyrium instead, at the reasonable price of 50 sovereigns. You can keep it, or, since you can travel freely from here, sell it to Godwin, who you know is buying. And if you bring back his return order, I could pay you, say, 20 sovereigns as a finder's fee.
Must be dangerous
More
for paying
so
that
for
much.
someone like you, I guess. Most dwarves born down here have a natural immunity. Other races, there are problems if they spend too long with the ore. The real
That's fair.
issue is that lyrium's valuable. It's only found down here, and human mages can't work without it.
Distracted Ape Designs, thank you for all the likes. I appreciate you. Sounds like
As
I
long as
wouldn't
you
approve
keep your
your
eyes
type
down
of
and your mouth shut,
opportunity.
we've got no further business.
Are you sure about that? Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Up we go, and I think it's lore dump time, because we've gone over a ridiculous amount of stuff. This place is just dripping in lore. Oh boy. Black Vials, we got Binding Second Corpse Walker cast from your host. You may find no purchase on mortal ground, bound by your true name, as we are sworn to do. Nathamus Begal, Revenant and Perversion of a Fine Daughter. No more will you test the veil, nor reach the fade to escape. Andraste, hold you demon, bind your rage for eternity. Okay. Yeah, that's just pretty much stating the Revenants are bound spirits that... And Distracted Ape, thank you for the heart me as well. I appreciate you. But yeah, essentially saying that the Revenants are mages who turn demon and then cast out, and the vials are like their prison until they're broken. I already read that one. Letter from King Endrin, my lord Haramount. My guilt weighs heavily on me, and I know now that I was a fool. Only a fool would cut out his own heart and burn it for the sake of appearances. I allowed the assembly to send my child to exile and death because I feared an inquiry into Drown's murder would taint our house with scandal. You have been my rock and my shield these long months, and for that I thank you. But I must ask for one more thing, or one thing more. I wish to discover if my child survived. Even the smallest trace will set my mind at ease. Send your men, your scouts, anyone who will go. Balin thinks I am mad. He says that if word spreads of my wish, our house will be undone. He doesn't know that Iduken is already lost. I destroyed us when I sacrificed that what was most precious. Please, Pyro, help me. I come to you not as a king, but as a father. Okay. Yeah, so this is essentially, it's a letter from King Endrin to Haramont saying that the prince that he exiled, he realizes he should not have exiled, even though that was the one that Balin accused for killing the other brother. Alright, books and songs. The Legion of Steel. Paragon Caridin vanished in the 11th year of the reign of King Valtor, and with the Paragon, the entire process for golem manufacture was lost. Expeditions were sent into the Deep Road to track him, but the Darkspawn drove them all back. Finally, in the 2nd year of the reign of Queen Getha, 126 golems, the entire Legion of Steel were sent to recover the Paragon. None returned. The Shaper of Golems refused to support any further attempts to find Caridin. The Paragon was officially declared dead. Shaper never recovered from the loss of an entire Legion of Golems and never again allowed an all-golem regiment in the Deep Roads. So essentially saying the golems were sent into the Deep Roads to try to reclaim certain areas of the Deep Roads itself and, you know, recover some paragons and stuff like that, which we'll go over what the paragons are here in a little bit. But try to recover some of the stuff, some of the lost history and everything, and it just did not go well for them. In praise, the humble Nug. I once served a human some Nug, and he proclaimed that it was like eating an unholy union of pork and hair. The idea disturbed him so much that he declined to finish the serving and made himself content with some stale bread. Of course, this only goes to show that surfers, human or otherwise, have tragically unrefined palates. The nug is surely the most delicious animal I have ever tasted. Only a dead man would not salivate at the thought of a tender morsel of roast nug melting in his mouth. The Paragon Baron, although his house has fallen, shall always be remembered for discovering the wonders of nug flesh. Admittedly, it was discovered only out of desperation when he was separated from his legion and lost in Deep Roads for a week, but we won't hold that against a good Paragon. While nug pancakes and nuggets, get it? Nuggets? My own children love these. Are the nug dishes one encounters most often. Nug can be prepared in other interesting and elegant ways. The late king answered, Iduken adored nug seared on a hot metal plate and finished in the oven and dressed in a cream sauce flavored with deep mushrooms. You must be careful when using the mushrooms from Deep Roads because they often grow close to darkspawn bodies. They say that this is what gives them their unique flavor and intoxicating scent, but it also means that consuming too many of them may result in a curious affliction of the mind. Essentially saying nugs are delicious. And don't eat tainted food.
You need to slow down.
Nope, because I got a lot to get through. Traditional dwarven folk songs. It's just a song about nugs. It's not that important.
Will you still be streaming whenever I get back?
I have no idea.
Cool.
Why?
So get back at 4:15, 4:30?
Huh?
We're fine. Nothing.
You have what at 4:30?
I get out
Of class? Okay.
and have to go to Walmart.
Okay. Let's see, that's all fine. I love you.
Love you too.
Have fun. Creatures. Bear. It's a bear. There's nothing important about bears. Nugs, little pig dudes, adorable. Revenant, mage that's become a demon, and then the demon was cast out and held as a prisoner in dark blood vials. Giant spider is just a spider that's giant. I'm not going to go over those too much. There's nothing much there. Culture and history. This is where we're going to have a lot of stuff here. The caste list. Caste system in Orzammar includes many groups of privilege and nobility and the warriors above all others, but to a lesser degree the merchants and the smiths and the miners. Tradition establishes a clear hierarchy, but as in any culture with an upper class, there is also a clear underclass. These unfortunates, the so-called casteless, are believed to be descendants of criminals and other undesirables. They have been looked down upon since Orsammar's foundation. They have taken up residence in a place called Dusttown, a crumbling ruin on the fringe of Orsammar's common areas. Orzammar society considers these castes lower than even the servant castes. Indeed, the castes are not allowed to become servants, as it is too honorable a position. Pretty much they're dirt on the road. They're seen as a little better than humans. Their faces branded at birth to mark them as their bastard children of the kingdom. Their home districts, little more than a slum, and is a haven for crime, organized and otherwise. Orzammar guards seemingly cannot be bothered to patrol the streets. Best that most casteless dwarves can hope for is the life at the whim of a local crime lord. Ended abruptly by violence or an overabundance of toxic lichen ale. Ooh. Even so, there is hope for the caste as a dangling rope that offers a way up into greater Orzammar society. Since the dwarves caste is determined by the parent of the same sex, the male child of a nobleman is part of that noble's house and caste. Strangely, it is acceptable for casteless women trained into arts of courtly romance to woo nobles and warriors. They are known as noble hunters. Any male born from such a union is considered a joyous event. Considering the low rate of dwarven fertility, the mother and the entire family are then taken in by the father's house, although they retain their caste. The dwarves we know on the surface are also considered casteless once they leave Orzammar, although this is only relevant to those who return, if they are allowed to return at all. Dwarves who leave for the surface, the sun-touched, as they're often called behind their backs, lose their connection to the stone and the favor of their ancestors, and thus are worthy of little more than a pity, for upon dying they are said to be lost to the stone forever. But put that way, it seems a sad existence indeed. Essentially saying the casteless are very, very low on the totem pole, like the literal bottom of the totem pole. And if you leave Orzammar, you're casteless. If you're a criminal, you're casteless. You can be thrown into the casteless system. And the only way out is if a woman woos a noble and they have a child. But because dwarves are mostly infertile and cannot have children very easily, that does not happen very often. The cast. Visitors to Orzammar should keep in mind that the hierarchies of Dwarven society are much more complex than their own. It is easy to gravely insult a man simply by mistaking his position. Since this can lead to unnecessary loss of life and limbs, I will attempt to mitigate the danger for my fellow travelers. Society of Orzammar is divided into nobles, warriors, smiths, artisans, miners, merchants, and servants. Now, you are undoubtedly saying to yourself, we have all those divisions among our own people. This is a dangerous misconception. Certainly, we do have nobility, artisans, merchants, and these others. These positions are largely inherited from our parents. However, the younger children of noblemen often choose to be artisans or soldiers. The sons of merchants may join the army or become servants or apprentice themselves to a craftsman. This is all freely chosen, limited perhaps by the circumstances of birth, but still chosen. What is the matter of choice for most human folk is dictated entirely by birth for dwarves. No one may become a smith who was not born to smith caste parents. A servant who marries a noble woman will never be a noble himself, and although his daughters would be nobles, his son would be servants, for daughters inherit the caste of their mother, while sons inherit the caste of their father. Essentially saying, if your father's a piece of shit and has no rank, and you're his son, you're gonna be a piece of shit and have no rank. And then the same thing goes with the mother's side with the daughter. And it's all based off of birth. You do not get to choose who you want to be. Deep Roads. This isn't there isn't a dwarf alive who remembers Deep Roads as they once were. They were the network of tunnels that joined the Tigers together. To be honest, it isn't even right to give them such a simple term as tunnels. Are works of art with centuries of planning demonstrated in the geometry of their walls, with the statues of the paragons that watch over travelers, with the flow of lava that keeps the deep roads lit and warm. The cloud gazers up on the surface talk of the imperial highway built by the magisters of old, a raised walkway that crossed thousands of miles, something that could only have been built by magic. Perhaps it is comparable to the deep roads, although we dwarves didn't need magic. I suppose it doesn't matter any more. Sorry. Darkspawn ruled the deep roads now. When Orzammar sealed off the entrances to the deep roads, abandoning everything that lay out there, we handed over the kingdom that was to those black bastards forever. To think that there are genlocks? I never knew how to say those names. Crawling over Bonamar now, tearing down our statues and defiling our greatest works. Corruption covers everything we build out there. Every dwarf who goes out there and comes back says it gets worse with each passing year. The fountain is spread a little further, and the cloud gazers think that the darkspawn are gone just because they aren't spilling out onto the surface. Huh. One day, when Orzammar is gone for good, they'll find out differently. Those darkspawn won't have anywhere else to go but up, and they'll do it. The surface folk will have themselves a blight that will never end. Essentially saying the deep roads are gorgeous places, but because the darkspawn originated from underground in the dark, the dwarves were the first to be attacked, and they lost 99% of their kingdom and are in a constant, unending war with the darkspawn to try to keep as much of their home in one piece as possible. The city of Orzammar. The dwarves are lauded for their craftsmanship, and the city of Orzammar is one of the finest works. Orzammar lies at the heart of the Frostback Mountains, deep underground. The city arcs outward from the royal palace, which is built around a natural lava vent, continually fountaining liquid rock, which both lights and heats the entire cavern. Topmost tier of Orzammar is home to the noble cast with their palaces fanning out in both directions from the court of the king, as well as the Shaper, which serves as a repository for all dwarven knowledge. The lower tiers, the commons, where the merchant caste holds sway and where the finest works of Orzammar craftsmen are for sale. In the center of the river of lava, connected to commons by a causeway, are the proving grounds, sacred arena, where the dwarves, by ancient tradition, settle their disputes. On one side of the fiery river are the ruins of old dwarven palaces fallen into despair, which the locals call Dust Town, now home to the city's castles. On the other side of the river are the deep roads, which once joined the sprawling dwarven empire together, but now, after centuries of darkspawn incursions, are largely sealed off. Nearly all knowledge of this network of underground passages has been lost, even to its builders. I probably will import the save, yeah. Essentially saying Orzammar Grand area has a 3-tiered society, and it is the last bastion of safety for dwarves before the deep roads that are gonna eventually spill over into Orzammar itself. Legion of the Dead. Yes, Stone's greetings, friends. You will fight ceaselessly in the Legion of the Dead, motto of the Legion of the Dead. The Legion accepts all, so I was told by the Legionnaires himself, a dwarf who waited quietly at the entrance to the deep roads for the rest of his unit to assemble. They gather slowly, each equipped with heavy armor and fine weapons, each painted with grim tattoos, applied to their funerals the night previous. For that is the nature of the Legion. They are all dead. Any dwarf may join the Legion so long as he is willing to give up everything he has. The funeral rites are somber. A final goodbye is said to family and loved ones, and the material goods are dispersed to their heirs, and last words are said, and then it is done. The new Legionnaire marches out into the deep roads, never to return. The Legion fights against the Darkspawn to the last, striking one final blow against the monsters that have claimed so much of their homeland. Many join the Legion, clear the slate. Criminals join to avoid punishment. The dishonored join so that their houses and families need not suffer on their behalf. The bankrupted join so their debts might be forgiven. A very few join for a last chance at glory, but the Legion takes them too. This group hopes to reach the fabled fortress of Bonamar, once the Legion's home, associated with the greatest of the Paragons. Bonamar is a holy place. It's lost the last great blow against dwarven kingdoms, and its recapture would be a glorious signal to all of Orzammar. But capture it or no, all of these warriors will die in the deep roads. It is a sobering thought And I now know why the dwarves say the Legion's charge is the battlefield's most frightening sight. They have nothing left to lose. Essentially, these are the people who are the criminals and the outcasts, and anybody who is either going to become castless or go to jail or are just insane, and they go into the deep roads, and their only mission is to kill as much darkspawn as they can. If they can start paving a way and cutting through a path to one of the fortresses, primarily Bonamar currently is what they're going for. If they can get there, great. If not, then they already died. They actually hold their funeral before they leave because nobody in the Legion ever comes back. Ever. House Iduken, Shield of Orzammar. Assembly has never named a paragon with so little disagreement as there was for Paragon Iduken. No naysayers, only a single abstention. His worthiness was unquestionable, his favor with the ancestors clear. But family rumor says that the man himself was deeply troubled, prone to fits of melancholy and self-doubt. Never satisfied with his great achievement in protecting Orzammar, he died cursing that he had not managed to save the outlying takes. Before he rose to Paragon, he was of little note. The memories tell us that he never entered a single proving, never sought to elevate his place among the warrior caste. He spent most of his years prior to the First Blight fighting skirmishes in deep roads, keeping them free from surface bandits, content to live quietly with his wife and daughter. When the Blight began, it caught Orzammar in the midst of vicious inter-house war. Most of the warrior caste was caught up in the feuding for his word of tax poured in. Each great house demanded that the army be sent to defend their tag, and no house would agree to sacrifice their own holdings for the safety of any others. The assembly was so utterly tied up with the infighting that the darkspawn spread unchecked to the gates of Orzammar itself. In the chaos, Iduken grudgingly took command of the armies. He enlisted aid of the mining caste to collapse overrun passages, called upon the smith caste to supply them with arms, and bypassed the assembly and the nobles entirely. With his leadership, Orzammar was saved from annihilation. For his insubordination, he was made paragon. Yet he always considered it a defeat. So essentially, Iduken, the original person who became king and all that, he was a warrior. He didn't really care about any like fame, glory, or anything like that. But as the First Blight happened and Orzammar was on the brink of falling to ruin by the Darkspawn, he pretty much said, "Nobles, y'all dumb as fuck. I'm just gonna do this shit myself." And he was like, "Look at me, I'm so good at tactic," and pretty much collapsed tunnels and stopped Orzammar from being overrun by Darkspawn. And then because he went against the assembly and all of the nobles and everything like that, he was an insubordinate. But because he saved Orzammar, he became a paragon for it, which is completely backwards of what it would normally do. But whatever. The Paragons. This is where a lot of this stuff comes into play because I've been talking about Paragons, but it has no idea what they are. As I studied among the dwarves, I became aware of their social system was as rigid as stone that surround them. From the low servant to the king of Orzammar, each dwarf has a caste, a rigid social standing, which dictates what he may do and how he may do it. What fascinated me then was that the dwarves, stubborn and proud as they may be, have built in a way for even the lowliest dwarf to bypass the caste system and reach prominence. Any dwarf who has made an achievement of significance can be named Paragon, elevating that dwarf above all others. To become a paragon is to be recognized as essentially a living ancestor. Your words are considered ineffable, and the dwarves liken you unto a god. Your family, those you choose to ascend with you, become the founders of a new line of nobility. Indeed, every existing noble house among the dwarves traces its line back to a founding paragon. It is a rare thing, however, in my visit, I learned that only one paragon has been elected in generations, the Smith Bronca, exalted for her discovery of smokeless coal. I've met with the Paragon Bronca only once during my stay, and I considered it an odd occasion indeed. Surrounded by those of her house, this ill-tempered woman was draped in the finest clothing and jewelry, and was obviously revered even above the highest nobles, perhaps more even the king, yet she seemed to enjoy none of it. The burden of being a living legend is great, it appears. Statues of the Paragons are found throughout Orzammar, though nowhere so prominently than in the Hall of Heroes, through which one passes on entering from the surface. It is a breathtaking sight to behold. Great works of stone, all seemingly to hold up the ceiling above. It is meant to impress upon visitors to Orzammar of all who have gone before. I think it is also meant to remind dwarves going to the surface and thus abandoning their brethren forever of all they are leaving behind. Essentially, what it's saying is even a castless can become a paragon. It is all about if they can do something so huge, like the Idukins. He saved Orzammar. Bronca did Smokeless Cool. Some of them would like figure out a new weapon or a new piece of machinery that they could use. That kind of deal. Orzammar politics. How many we got? Oh boy. Okay, so we got 2 more left here. As dangerous as it is a mistake the dwarfs cast, it is far more deadly to mistake his alliances among the noble house of Orzammar. Everyone in the city is allied with somebody, whether by blood or by word. The nobles do not engage directly in commerce themselves, as that is the domain of merchant castes, but they do serve as patrons. They invest in shops or in artisan works, and in turn reap a share of the profits as well as a measure of the credit. Merchants and warriors alike benefit from the service of a prestigious patron. The relative power of each house is ever-changing. It is unusually safe to assume that whichever noble house holds the throne is at the top of the heap, but below that, things grow into a tangled mess. Houses ally with one another by marriage. They are in rank and prestige when combatants loyal to them or from their own bloodlines win improvings. They earn it when artisans they patronize become sought after or well regarded, or when the merchants they invest in become successful. The degree of power that these achievements confer is so murky, even to the dwarves, that it isn't unusual for nobles to challenge each another to provings over whose smith forges better belt buckles or whose servant have the best manners. Nor is it out of the ordinary to find 2 merchants arguing over those noble patron who won the most acclaim, for the rank of the patron is the rank of the client. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the assembly, where the Deshier representatives of each noble house meet. Although the king technically rules Orzammar, kings are elected by the assembly, and so each king must work constantly to maintain the support of the Deshiers. Kings who prove unpopular find their heirs deemed unacceptable to inherit the throne. Power then passes to another house. Lot to go through. I wish for the extinction of mosquitoes. Me too. Essentially, the nobles invest in merchants. The merchants make really nice goods. If the merchants become renowned, then the nobles become more renowned themselves, but they're not allowed to trade. The merchant does that for them, and then the nobles will send in their like best fighters into the proving grounds, which is essentially like the gladiator pits, if you want to call it that. And that's where they show off the best stuff that they have, like the best armor, the best weapons, if this is really nice or that's really nice. And if they win the proving, then they also get more honor and coolness points, I guess. And the nobles elect the king. So it's a democratic monarchy. The assembly elects the king, but the assembly essentially rules everything, but the king is actually the last person who writes off on what happens. But if the king is too unpopular, when the king dies, the assembly is like, nah fam, you ain't gonna have your son be unpopular too, and so they elect a different king. Yar. Orange now, are you, Badger? Yes. The chant of light is almost never heard in the halls of Orzammar. This is hardly surprising, for unlike the elves who were literally abandoned by their gods, or the Vinters who worship dragons, the dwarves have no gods at all. Even the concept of worship is foreign in Orzammar. Instead, the dwarves they give to the earth itself. This seems practical for people living underground, if perhaps a bit unimaginative. For guidance in spiritual matters, they turn to their ancestors. These ancestors, who are said to have returned to the stone, communicate their wishes to the living via brutal trials by combat called provings. The ancestors' collective wisdom is maintained by the Shaper, which can apparently store records in Lyrium itself. Set above the ancestors, above even kings or the paragons, dwarves who have achieved such greatness that they are elevated almost to godhood. These are great figures holding up the hallways that lead from the surface, the first glimpse of Orzammar that outsiders see. Essentially say, oh my god, likely ban evader, restricted. Oh my god, another one. Fuck off, would you? Cheap viewers, oh my! So essentially what this is saying is the dwarves have no gods. They believe in their ancestors and the paragons, and they listen to the stone or the earth for their knowledge and wisdom, I guess you could say. And usually that's done in the trial by combat of provings. I guess calling them agnostic, they don't believe in a god, but they believe in the transcendence of their ancestors and the paragons before them. Whoop! That's not what I wanted. Alright, characters. Balin Idukin, third of the king Endurin's children. Balin is always considered the last and least of his family, not the heir, not the favored, not as accomplished as either sibling. Balin's most notable trait was his ability to stay out of trouble. You've been tackling the bees and satisfactory smartly. Very nice. Here we go. House Harriman is one of the oldest noble houses as old as Orzammar itself. Endrin's most trusted advisor, Harriman is well known for being an able administrator and the author of many compromises in the ever-warring assembly. All right, that was our lore dump. I hope you all retained all of that. There's gonna be a pop quiz at the end.